ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
From a sold-out Cassell Coliseum, it's the ACC on ESPN. The Hoos and Hokies, a Commonwealth clash here in Blacksburg. Number 12, Virginia against Virginia Tech. With former Virginia standout Corey Alexander, I'm Anish Shroff. For the Cavaliers, it's pretty simple. Win tonight, and Virginia would be tied with North Carolina for first place in the ACC.
And with still two matchups versus North Carolina this year, they would be in a great position to have their own destiny in hand to be able to win the ACC. But it starts here at Cassell Coliseum tonight, where the Hokies are 4-1 in ACC play, and they are not easy to beat.
And for Virginia Tech, you talk about a chance to really build that tournament resume. They're in the projected field now. A win against rival UVA would go a long way in another month.
It would. Opened up ACC play with a win over Duke in this building, and the atmosphere is very similar, and they're looking for the same result.
Roger Ayers, Ted Valentine, and Doug Shows the officials tonight. And we're underway as Virginia Tech controls the tip. Second meeting of the season between these two. UVA won handily in Charlottesville. Ahmed Hill down low. And the rebound comes to Marial Shayok. London Parentes, the floor general for Virginia. Numbers were not overwhelming in non-conference. He has really picked it up in league play. 15 points per game, 50% from three.
And that really was the difference in Virginia when they lost to Pittsburgh. London Parentes took on more of a scoring role after that. And that has been the change in the way that they played in ACC play.
Hadim C in transition. The Hokies didn't have much of that in the first meeting last month.
Well, very few teams get that against Virginia. You're talking about one of the best transition defensive teams in the country with the Wahoos, and early in this game, a transition bucket for Virginia Tech, and I know Tony Bennett is not happy about that.
Tempo is going to be critical in this game. Virginia, the slowest tempo in all of Division I. They're content to shoot late in the shot clock. The Hokies like to go fast. There's Wilkins from the baseline, doesn't go. And the offensive rebound by Jack Salt, the New Zealander.
But that's the area where Virginia was able to beat up on Virginia Tech in the first meeting, was on the offensive glass. But right there, I believe Virginia felt as though the ball hit the rim. Well, I'm sorry, they called a travel on Jack Salt in the corner on that one, because I was confused there. But again, it's so loud, I never heard the whistle. I thought it was a shot clock violation.
We've been here a few times this season. This is by far as loud as it's been.
Absolutely.
It's Justin Bibbs and now Justin Robinson, who had 15 in Wednesday's loss at Miami. Hadim C turns it over. Shayok, contested jumper. Tip back. Parentes.
Another offensive rebound for Virginia. That's too early in this game, and that's been an area of concern for Buzz Williams and his team all year long. They have been out-rebounded by 60 in ACC play.
Parentes to the basket, and it comes to C. Those offensive rebounds against Virginia also force you to defend for almost a minute as Wilkins flies in for the block.
It does that. And, you know, when you think about those possessions for Tony Bennett, their average possession time, 21.1 seconds. And that's taking away the opportunities that they get in transition early. So they are content, as you mentioned, in shooting the ball in that last third of the shot clock, under 10 seconds. Many teams panic in that area, but Tony Bennett, his group, they love to make the defense change sides of the floor and see if they can wear you down when they have the basketball.
Here's Hill from the corner. It does not go, out of bounds to Virginia. Corey, what makes Virginia's offense so effective and efficient with the shot clock running down?
Well, honestly, it starts with London Parentes, because he's not a guy that you can speed up. He stays poised no matter how much time is on the shot clock, and you can look at him play. Honestly, he plays really cool. Often at times, I mean, maybe too cool, but yet you can't get him flustered. But of course, a knockdown three-point shooter when he gets his look.
On cue, 50% from 3 in conference play. Parentes with the Cavaliers' first field goal.
Of course, you know, I got to say that because I knew that one was good as soon as the corner cornered that open.
Leday, no-look pass. Hill from the corner. No good for the Augusta, Georgia native. Here's Shayok. Virginia going quickly, and Shayok gets the roll.
And you see that from Virginia. They will take their opportunities in transition when they have numbers. But against a set defense, Tony Bennett's team knows they are going to understand how to move the basketball and get the best possible shot.
Virginia plays that pack line defense. How should Virginia Tech attack? Here's Hill down the lane. Robinson. And he traveled.
Off the cross-court pass, London Parentes knocking down the three-pointer, third in ACC play in three-point shooting percentage. Led the league last year, so London Parentes, a very capable three-point scorer, and actually Virginia's all-time leading percentage three-point field goal shooter. So, and that's a guy that Buzz Williams, I'm sure, doesn't want to get open looks.
There's Parentes averaging 15 a game in league play, falling away. Salt keeps it alive, his second offensive rebound, and he's able to draw the foul. Corey, coming into ACC play, Virginia didn't have a single player averaging double figures in scoring. You look at Parentes' non-conference numbers, 33% from 3, less than 10 points per game. But against stellar competition, he's elevated his play, and we wondered early in the year who would be UVA's go-to guy. He answered the bell.
And Virginia lost early. They had a big win at Louisville to open up ACC play, but then lost at home to Florida State and lost on the road at Pittsburgh. London Parentes at that point realized that he had to become much more of a scorer, went for back-to-back 20-plus games after that, and really established a different role for himself in ACC play than he played in non-conference.
1 out of 2 for Salt. It's a 6-0 Virginia run. UVA coming off a win Monday against Louisville. It was a depleted Louisville team. Here's Leday. Nice feed down low to Clark, who can't finish. And we've got a foul on the floor. 15:56 to go. Castle rocking on a Sunday night. ACC Sunday night basketball, Virginia Tech, Virginia. These two met back on the Kalins of February. That's the first. Devin Hall, career high 17. Isaiah Wilkins also had a career high 15. Virginia Tech held it to a season low 48 points. They struggled from 3, struggled on the boards. And Virginia won handily 71-48. Courtside, Anish Shroff, former Virginia star, Corey Alexander. This is an interesting rivalry. You played in it. What is the defining characteristic of Virginia Tech?
The defining characteristic is about the in-state players. And, you know, you mentioned Devin Hall, 17 points, 9 rebounds in that first game. He's the only Virginia native on the UVA team. There are 3 for Virginia Tech: Chris Clark, Seth Allen, and Justin Robinson. I've talked to all those guys. This is a big game for them, and this is most likely Seth Allen's last opportunity to play against Virginia unless, you know, they meet up in the ACC tournament. So he wants to have a spectacular game today, and more importantly, he wants a win here in Castle Coliseum.
2 free throws good for Clark. For Seth Allen, by the way, this is his 8th career game against Virginia. Remember, he started his career with Maryland back when the Terps were in the ACC.
And he had a couple of special performances when he was with Maryland, and also a special performance a year ago when the Hokies were able to beat Virginia on this court when Virginia was ranked number 4 in the country.
Allen in the game, wearing number 4 for the Hokies. Ty Jerome, a freshman, in for Virginia. Wilkins looking for Hall, who was not ready, and the turnover.
And that's a scenario where Isaiah Wilkins, as well as he's been playing, especially, he has to shoot that basketball. Devin Hall was getting back. You got to get back in transition versus this Hokies team. So Devin Hall was already getting back, not even attempting to get an offensive rebound. Wilkins had to let that one fly.
Here's Leday. He comes off the bench. He's the team's leading scorer. Ran into Diakite. And the rebound comes to Isaiah Wilkins, who's coming off his first career double-double.
Diakite averaging 1.24 blocks per game in limited minutes for Virginia, so he gives them a strong presence off the rebound. Not as strong as London Fuentes, though, knocking down those three-pointers.
This is a Virginia offense. For all the love that's heaped on the defense, it is one of the most efficient offenses in the country. And you look at what they've done in league play, almost 50% from the field, better than 40% from three as a team.
Yeah, they lead the ACC in field goal percentage, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they take quality shots pretty much on every possession down the floor, and more importantly, they don't turn the basketball over much, under 10 turnovers per game, which is one of the tops in the country.
Here's Hill, shot clock running down, and he traveled. Well, those are badges of honor, too, for Virginia when you force an opponent into a shot clock violation or a mistake with the shot clock running down. How about that young man with the ball, Ty Jerome, who has entered Tony Bennett's circle of trust of late.
He has really had a surge in the Notre Dame game, scored 8 big points on the road, and then came back with 15 against Villanova. And it was a game where London Fuentes pretty much struggled, but of course, as the #1 option on the scouting report against Villanova, you're going to get a lot of attention. Ty Jerome stepped up and played big in that game.
Shot clock running down. Wilkins blocked by Ledet at the rim. Transition opportunity for the Hokies. Here's Allen. Clark. Contact. Ledet on the follow. No whistle, and finally they get a foul down low. And they got Isaiah Wilkins, I believe.
We talked about Diakite and his block shots. However, on the other end of the floor, Zach Ledet coming up with a huge block. Ledet and Isaiah Wilkins, two of the better shot blockers in the ACC, although both those guys 6'7" or under, but do a very good job timing opportunities on the defensive end of the floor.
They got the foul on Ledet on the push, his first. Here's Parentes. That three is not there. Tip no good. Parentes hit 7 threes in this building a season ago. With Clark, Robinson, and Allen on the floor, Virginia Tech with 3 outstanding ball handlers and passers. Robinson looking for help, and that is the 3rd traveling violation that we've seen so far in this game.
And that's the thing that you cannot do against Virginia. You cannot go offensive trips and not get shots at the basket. And right now, Virginia Tech 1 for 9 from the field with 3 turnovers already. Is one of the main reasons they trailed by 5 early in this game.
There's Kyle Guy with that unique hairstyle, which makes him so popular on the road.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they love him here in Castle Coliseum.
He plays off of it. He feeds off of it.
Yeah, he has the personality to accept it and, more importantly, allow it to make him a better player. So when you think about Kyle Guy, and of course, he's a young man that can knock down big shots when he gets his opportunity.
There's Jerome, long-range 3. Good. Ty Jerome, the freshman from New Rock, New York.
And when you look at Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy, these are Tony Bennett types of players, and a lot of the Virginia fan base is concerned about, well, we don't get this guy, we don't get this guy. Tony Bennett recruits guys that fit well in his system, and he's got 2 of them that can be cornerstones in his backcourt moving forward.
Leaner good for Justin Bibbs, who had 16 points against Virginia in this building last season. UVA has won 9 of the last 10 in this rivalry, but the Hokies beat the Hoos at Castle a season ago. Here comes Hall. And it's an offensive foul, says Ted Valentine.
And you see that battle between Devin Hall and Chris Clark. High school teammates when you look at those 2 guys. So I'm sure that there's been a little bit of banter going on between the 2 of them leading up to this game. Devin Hall got the best of all the Hokies in game 1 matchup. I'm sure Chris Clark looking to have a much bigger output here today.
Early 6-point lead for Virginia, which is a half game behind in North Carolina for first place in the ACC. Virginia Tech looking for a huge resume-building win for next month. Robinson's drive out of control. Stolen away by Allen, stays in bounds. Allen kicks to Ledet. Blocked by Diakite.
And Virginia right now covering up the rim for Virginia Tech. Even when Virginia Tech has their opportunities in transition or close to the bucket, it's been Diakite and Wilkins defending the rim, blocking shots.
Man bun chance. Guy doesn't care.
And that's the way you answer it, of course. Kyle Guy is used to it by now. He's been in enough hostile environments to hear the man bun chance or whatever it may be. But that time, he answers the challenge and steps up, knocking down a big jumper.
Outlaws three isn't there, and the rebound tracked down by Jared Reuter, sophomore from Massachusetts. Here's Jerome, and a blocking foul. Kyle Guy, a top 30 recruit, according to his mom. He keeps the man bun because the haters hate it.
"99 wins in a row. UConn, the quest for 100-0. Monday night, 9 p.m. on ESPN2.
South Carolina, UConn, Monday, 9 Eastern, ESPN2. Gino Auriemma's Huskies look to make it 100 straight. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't watch The Bachelor, but a lot of our colleagues do. I'm told wanting Corinne to win is not a good thing.
I'm not one of those colleagues, so I can't help you on that one. But I know Tony Bennett, and honestly, I doubt very seriously he watches The Bachelor. I can't say that for sure, but I doubt he watches it.
You know, I did ask him pregame. I asked him what would happen, or what would have to happen for you to rock a man bun. No scenario.
I don't think his wife Laurel is going for that.
Parentes looking for his third three. The rebound by Hadim C, freshman out of Oak Hill Academy. Seth Allen has given this Virginia Tech offense a spark. Allen around Diakite. Into the corner, Robinson. Rebound to Wilkins. Brendan Parentes, the senior out of Los Angeles. And an offensive foul against Shayok.
And Virginia Tech has turned up the defense on their last few possessions, and their offense has picked up because of it, or vice versa. Maybe it's the offense they started making shots and they got much better effort defensively. But either way, Buzz Williams has to be happy as the way his team has played recently. Now it's important for Virginia Tech to kind of gain control of this game and try to take a lead early in this first half.
C finishes down low, and after starting 2 for 13, the Hokies have made 5 out of 7.
But the reason why C is wide open is because Seth Allen gets so much attention because of how dangerous he is with the basketball in his hands as a scorer. He makes a play for C because the rotation is late getting back to the screener.
Parentes down the lane, teardrop.
And under Parentes, for his first 3 years at Virginia, has primarily been a shooter. But this year, as we talked about his numbers, now up to 8 points here in the game. But we talked about his numbers and how they increased in ACC play. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he's taking the ball to the basket much better.
Allen gets it back from Robinson. His third three, and it's a 2-point game. Diakite had made his last 7 prior to that. Parentes chases down the tap out. And this grinds the defense, these long Virginia possessions. All over C. Here comes Clark. Hokies can tie with a 2. Clark blocked from behind by Wilkins, but we've got a foul on Jerome.
And that's Virginia Tech basketball once again. pushing the ball in transition, but they played very well offensively as of late because they have been able to knock down the three-pointer. Seth Allen making his third three here in the first half, and Allen has scored 9 of the last 11 points for Virginia Tech, and the only 2 that he didn't score was off a beautiful feed from him to Adeem C under the basket for a layup. So Seth Allen had had his imprint all over this first half.
He's had a hand in these baskets, and free throws will be something to watch. You look at the games that Virginia has lost, the free throw attempt disparity has been startling. In just the conference games, the 3 that Virginia lost, Florida State 24-5, edge and free throw attempts. Pittsburgh 28-5, Syracuse 20-5.
And Seth Allen, actually, Buzz Williams taking him out of the game. Allen not really happy about that right now. When you get on the roll the way that he's been going, you want to stay in there and continue to see this thing through, and he has been the most effective player on the court, not just for his team, but on the floor over the last 5 minutes or so of this game.
Justin Robinson just picked up his second. Seth Allen is on his way back in.
An offensive-defensive substitution right there for Buzz Williams as he gets close to the media timeout.
Robinson to the bench. He and Leday have 2 fouls. And Seth Allen, last 8 games, has been the Energizer Bunny in a lot of ways for this offense. I heard you talking with Matt Schick during the pregame. Zach Leday might be Virginia Tech's leading scorer, but we've seen enough of the Hokies to know that Allen is the one, as you said, who has the keys to the car.
And you remember Seth Allen actually was in the concussion protocol against Florida State. He took a hit in the NC State game, so he didn't play against Florida State. But since coming back, his numbers have been spectacular. Adeem C losing that one. Another opportunity inside off a beautiful feed from Chris Clark. That's one that C needs to be able to bring in and try to get a shot attempt.
Kyle Guy back into the game.
And you look at this Virginia lineup right now. Virginia's going small, matching what Virginia Tech is doing, pretty much having Devin Hall playing the 4 position and Wilkins at the 5, because Virginia Tech, other than C, has 4 guards on the court.
Less than 10 to shoot. A little concern for Virginia, though. Parentes over Allen. 3rd 3 for Parentes. Those 2 have had a nice little back and forth in this first half.
Now, when you said a little concern from Virginia, what did you mean by that? Because we just talked about how Virginia does not get concerned.
I said
the shot clock goes at
little concern.
Oh, a little concern. Okay. I should do a better job listening to you.
If it hasn't happened by this point, I'm not holding my breath.
We've talked about Virginia. When the shot clock goes down, there's normally one guy who's going to end up with the ball, and that's London Parentes. More often than not, he makes good, and he's made a 5-point lead for the Hoos.
He didn't make good. He kicked that ball. Come on, Cards. Come on.
Let's take a look at Bracket Buzz, brought to you by Cheez-It. 14 ACC teams sit in the top 100 in the RPI. Virginia Tech right now in the projected field. It's been a decade since the Hokies last danced. And as for top seeds, Louisville, UNC, Virginia, and Florida State. All those teams by the selection committee, when they came out with the top 16 teams yesterday, project as 2 and 3 seeds.
And Florida State were 2 seed until they got beat yesterday at Notre Dame in a big performance by the Fighting Irish on their home court, avenging a loss. As Darius Thompson goes and takes out a little frustration on the rim.
Thompson had a 10 in Monday's win against Louisville after just 11 in his previous 5 games. Allen nearly lost it. Allen, nice feed to C. It rims out. Hall comes up with the offensive or the defensive rebound, and he threw it off of Clark. And Virginia will get the basketball.
And the second opportunity that C has had in the paint that he was unable to finish. It was Zach Leday on the bench with 2 fouls. Adeem C has to step up and really be more of a scorer when he gets those opportunities for Virginia Tech on the inside.
Wilkins finds a cutting Hall. And Devin Hall will shoot 2.
Great movement without the basketball by Devin Hall there. Isaiah Wilkins catching it with Chris Clark. Not much of a size difference there. And Chris Clark, a very good defender, but as Clark is holding up Wilkins, Hall is able to sneak behind someone on the perimeter and get an open run to the rim.
Foul was on Ahmed Hill. Devin Hall, a lefty from Virginia Beach, Virginia. As you alluded to earlier, he and Chris Clark went to the same high school.
Actually played for Devin's father, Mark Hall, the head coach at Cape Henry Collegiate High School. So we talked about a little banter between those two guys. I'm sure they've had some conversations leading into this one, especially back in the game on February 1st.
Timeout by Buzz Williams, 31-23, Virginia on top. Joe Lunardi has come out of hibernation. That's what happens in February. And
Lunardi was talking NCAA tournament back in January. What are you talking about hibernation? He doesn't hibernate.
Well, we're just now listening to him. And Joey Brackett's putting out his projections. We're getting the daily emails. He has at least 10 teams from the ACC. We could have more that could get into the NCAA tournament. There's a few on the bubble. These are his teams in the top 16. UNC, Louisville, Florida State, Virginia, and Duke. And then on the bubble, Wake, Miami, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. Virginia Tech, a little safer than those schools now, but you know, we said it. The difference this year from last year for the Hokies, last year Virginia Tech won 10 games in conference, but they had done a lot of damage to their resume in non-conference. They were 12-1 to start the year. It gives them a little leeway, and when you lose in the ACC these days, odds are it's not going to be a loss that hurts you.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about that, the ACC, you're playing against a quality opponent every night. Right now, when you have to face this type of competition that you play against in the ACC, you're always getting a chance for a high strength of schedule win.
Virginia, second in the BPI, number 13 in the RPI. 6 quality wins, including one last Monday against Louisville.
And Virginia gets a boost actually from going out of conference on January 30th and playing at Villanova. Lost that game on a tip-in at the buzzer from the Wildcats. But you still somewhat get credit for that because you're taking on a #1 seed in Villanova and playing them so strong on their home court.
Parentes has had a big first half, way off there. And we've got a foul underneath. It's on Outlaw. First on Outlaw. The 9th team foul on Virginia Tech.
And that's what plagued Virginia Tech early in the game. And honestly, they've done a much better job on their defensive board. But now you see the missed shot by Parentes, but Isaiah Wilkins, who had 5 offensive rebounds in the game under 2 weeks ago against Virginia Tech, comes up with another one. He already has 4 offensive boards in today's game.
8th team foul, rather, against the Hokies. Here's Allen. That doesn't go. Knocked out of bounds to Virginia.
And that's when you know Seth Allen is a shooter, because when he let that one go, he knew it was coming off. He actually got in there following his shot. Most shooters won't do that nowadays, but he knew it was a miss, and he actually had a great line on it coming up with the offensive board, just couldn't corral it.
Hokies have gone scoreless now for more than 3 minutes. From the elbow, yes.
Kyle Guy may have gotten away with the push-off with that one, but now Virginia on a 10-0 run. After this was a 1-point game, and Virginia Tech had the basketball with an opportunity to take the lead. Virginia has gone on a 10-0 run to take control of this one once again here in the first half.
Bibbs to the free throw line. He'll shoot 2, and he is one of Virginia Tech's better free throw shooters, 83%. Foul on Darius Thompson.
To the line for your Hokies, number 10, Justin Bibbs, shooting 2.
Bibbs, a 6'5" guard from Dayton. Played with Ben Simmons in high school at Montverde. Big Monday on ESPN is an ACC Big 12 doubleheader. First at 7. Number 4 Louisville goes to the Carrier Dome to take on a Syracuse team that's sitting on the bubble, and West Virginia to Fog Allen to take on Kansas. Mountaineers looking to sweep the season series from the Jayhawks. And Huggy Bear, by the way, gets a big bonus every time West Virginia beats Kansas.
But Justin Bibbs missing 2 free throws on that possession. Virginia Tech coming away with an empty possession there and giving Virginia an opportunity to put more points on the board going into halftime. And Kyle Guy capitalizes on that by a beautiful drive by Darius Thompson.
13 unanswered for Virginia. Their lead has ballooned to 14. Shot clock is off, or rather game clock is off, or shot clock is off, pardon me. 10 seconds to go. Here's Allen. To Clark on the smaller guy. Clark turns it over. Would have counted if it went, but Virginia heads into the locker room with a 37-23 lead. Parentes and Guy combining for 21. And the Hoos closed the first half on a 13-0 run.
Well, we knew three-point shooting would be major in this game. Right now, it's been Virginia leading that.
Halftime here in Blacksburg. We send it to the studio. Matt and Dino, fellas. Rivalry week here on ESPN. It is the Commonwealth Clash, and Virginia with a 14-point lead going into the second half after the Cavaliers closed the first half on a 13-0 run. And Ashraf, Corey Alexander, Virginia looking to sweep this season series, and it was really guard play for both teams in this first half. Guy and Parentes for Virginia, Allen leading the way for the Hokies.
And Virginia got off to a great start early, and actually were getting up and down the floor really well. But then Seth Allen, when he came into the game, he put his imprint on the first half big time. 9 points for Allen early in the game. And it wasn't just all about his shooting, playmaking as well, but he knocked down 3 or 4 three-pointers. But he was outdone in the first half on the other end of the floor by 2 guys. One guy being Kyle Guy, and then London Parentes. Virginia knocking down 6 three-pointers, 6 for 11 in the first half. And that was the difference in the game. Their ability to be able to shoot the basketball. And, of course, offensive rebounding for the Hoos.
Virginia likes to play at a slow tempo, so a 14-point deficit against the Cavaliers is significant. You see what Parentes and Guy have done. How does Virginia Tech get back into this game?
Well, if I'm Buzz Williams right now, I told my team at halftime, hey, these guys were up 12 at Syracuse just over a week ago, and they lost that game. So we have a chance, but just like Syracuse did, Virginia Tech's going to have to get hot from beyond the three-point arc, and more importantly, find the mismatch where they can drive the ball to the rim.
Hill looking for help, has it poked away. Not a good start for the Hokies.
And Virginia going with a small lineup. Kyle Guy actually starting the second half instead of Jack Salt to give them a much smaller lineup to be able to match up with the Hokies.
Parentes drops it off to Wilkins off the side of the backboard.
And Virginia Tech right now with numbers. Parentes back. They've got to take advantage of it.
Robinson's three is not there. See the offensive rebound. 4th offensive rebound for the Hokies, and a turnover off the extra chance.
And this is my second game this week with Virginia Tech, and that combination of Chris Clark trying to throw the basketball into C just really hasn't worked out. It's caused Chris Clark a number of turnovers over the past 2 games. And Chris Clark, a very unselfish player, and he's trying to make the right play. But honestly, I believe that he needs to be more aggressive offensively and allow Hadim C to pick up his opportunities off of driving kick passes in comparison to trying to feed the post.
UVA gives it right back as a Virginia opponent is currently in another scoring drought. And as you saw the graphic, that's been a familiar refrain for those following UVA basketball the last few years.
But here in this building, the Hokies can get hot, and they can get hot in a hurry. And Virginia has to be aware of that at all times if they want to walk out of Capital Coliseum with the win.
James Allen on the bench. C with a nice move. That time the feed from Clark was on point, and C able to finish.
It finally works out. Chris Clark is going to make the right play. That's the way that he's built. But Hadim C has to be ready for those passes. And when you play with a guy like Chris Clark, you always have to be prepared because he's going to get you the basketball.
Ariel Shayok driving the baseline. Robinson playing with the 2 fouls. Down low, C drops it in for 2 more.
And Hadim C now starting to finish on the inside. He had a number of opportunities early in the game that he didn't capitalize on the first half and then one to start the second half. But now with 8 points, he's starting to give the Hokies that presence on the inside that they need, especially when Zach LeDay's not in the game.
Fuentes was calling for it on that flare screen. Here's Guy. His first miss of the night. He was 4 for 4 prior. And again, miscommunication with those two.
But the difference is, off of pick and rolls where Hadim C is rolling to the basket, he's prepared for those. I coached him in high school. He's not really a guy that's used to getting the ball on post-ups, so he's not normally leaving his spot to go chase that ball down. Chris Clark can't throw him open. He's got to throw it directly to C.
Zach LeDay with 2 fouls in the first half has not come off the bench yet. There's Wilkins. And an offensive foul and a nice sell by Robinson.
Smart play by Justin Robinson, and if Virginia Tech is going to switch defensively, you're going to see Justin Robinson having to guard guys at times like Isaiah Wilkins, and that's a great call right there. And Justin Robinson does a good job of not taking the first bump, but going down early and not giving the officials an opportunity to have to call a second.
And that time they're going to get a blocking foul on Wilkins, who was hoping for a little quid pro quo.
But again, that's a freedom of movement call. Coming off of a screen and roll, you cannot invade the cylinder. So that's a right call. That's a correct call once again. Isaiah Wilkins there can't step up there and knock Justin Robinson off of his route. He's got to be able to force Robinson to go around him.
2 quick fouls on Wilkins. Zach LeDay checking in for C, and Virginia bringing in its big Jack Salt for Wilkins.
That is a big foul right there, because Isaiah Wilkins is a much better matchup for Zach LeDay. If I'm Buzz Williams right now, I want to run something to get LeDay on the move against Jack Salt, not necessarily posting him up.
And LeDay will go to the foul line as he's fouled by Salt. Already, you're seeing Virginia Tech much more efficient attacking in the second half.
Well, and Zach LeDay, of course, is a strong post player, and Jack Salt is prone to foul. But in that position, I honestly believe that you're better off putting the ball in LeDay's hands and giving an opportunity to face up Jack Salt. Jack Salt would really struggle to guard Zach LeDay when he's got a running start at it.
First point of the night for LeDay, who is Virginia Tech's leading scorer.
As you see right here, Jack Salt actually hooking the arm of LeDay. Jack Salt was trying to sell to the officials that he was the one that was hooked, but you can see he got his arm in there underneath LeDay.
LeDay on the board. He had 22 in the win against Virginia last year here. Fuentes left it short. And another foul. It's on Salt, his third.
And Zach LeDay going in to clean up the board. Jack Salt with the push in the back. Now Virginia Tech building some momentum here on their home floor. Have an opportunity to get this back into single digits. They need a quality offensive possession here.
Diakite getting ready to check in for Tony Bennett. LeDay set a hard screen. Robinson over Salt. And Virginia Tech within single digits.
And that's where that second foul on Isaiah Wilkins was so big. As you see Virginia Tech on a 6-0 run. Tony Bennett wants to get Mamadi Diakite in the game because the Hokies are attacking Jack Salt in pick and roll.
Hokies getting to the free throw line, getting inside. They've cut a 14-point deficit to 8.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And the all-new KFC Georgia Gold Honey Mustard Barbecue Chicken. It's finger-licking gold.
The halftime baby race at center court, that was a metaphor for the ACC. Once we get down the home stretch, the last week or so of the season, there's got to be some sort of mental and physical fatigue that sets in just trying to get to the finish line, given the type of gauntlet this league has been.
Well, it definitely has been a gauntlet all year. I'm not sure if we've seen anybody get out to a fast start to come to the line and just sit right before the line like we saw in the baby race today. Everyone in the arena cheering on the baby up front right before they get to the line, just stops and sits looking back for mama because daddy was waiting on him at the other end. That's just like a child. Mama back there letting him go, coming to daddy, but yet doesn't want to get all the way there.
Doesn't want to get all the way there. Hall off the Parentes feed, in and out. Out of bounds to Virginia Tech. Hokies have some momentum with 15:51 to go in the second half. With a win tonight, Virginia can move into a tie for first place in the ACC. And the Hoos have a chance to get another conference title. It would be the third in 4 years. They've got Duke Wednesday, North Carolina twice, including next Saturday in Chapel Hill.
And a challenging schedule for Virginia coming up. Of course, still 2 meetings with North Carolina, 1 in Chapel Hill, 1 back in Charlottesville, which will be a big Monday game. So still have to play Miami at home. So the Hoos definitely have a challenging schedule for the remainder of the ACC season.
Big Monday on ESPN, an ACC Big 12 doubleheader. Number 4 Louisville goes to Syracuse. You had Louisville yesterday. Quentin Snyder coming back. What sort of difference did that make for the Cardinals?
It was a huge difference because he knocked down 3 big three-pointers. And speaking of making big plays, Frank Mason III has made big plays all year for Kansas. But the one game that he wasn't able to was against West Virginia. But West Virginia was able to knock off the Jayhawks in Morgantown. I'm sure the Jayhawks will be looking for revenge in their home court once they have them coming into Fall Valley.
Hokies looking to cut into an 8-point deficit. It was 14 at the half. And the roll for Leday, who's got 4 all here in the second half.
And that change right there in the matchup from Tony Bennett. Diakite, a better matchup for Leday. Diakite had 3 block shots in the first half. And Leday actually had to sit down with 2 fouls. So I'm sure Zach Leday poised to have a much better second half here.
Diakite posting up Robinson, much smaller. Now he gets it. Diakite over Robinson. It comes to Leday. Here's Bibbs for 3. That would have sent this place rocking.
Absolutely, but when you're Mamadi Diakite, you give Justin Robinson on your back. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. Your team is trusting you to come up with the basket against the mismatch.
Shayok hits the jumper.
Beautiful shot by Mario Shayok, and that's really his game. He is a individual scorer. 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull-up. Capable of knocking down 3-pointers, but when you get him on the move, he can be dangerous coming off those screens.
Seth Allen in the game for Virginia Tech. He's got the ball. Hit 3 threes in the first half. Allen drives past Shayok through the contact, and he'll shoot 2. The foul is on Shayok, his second.
And we saw Seth Allen 9 points in the first half, knocking down those 3 three-pointers, but also made a beautiful feed to Adeem C, who was able to get an easy bucket under the basket. And it just shows you a little bit of how much respect Tony Bennett has for Seth Allen, because oftentimes when Virginia will double team players on their pick and roll defense, they don't stay with guys as long, but they like to stay with Seth Allen simply because he can come off those screens, knock down shots, but also make plays for a teammate.
If this game comes down to the wire, we get to see 2 of the best closers, maybe the 2 best closers in the ACC, in Allen and Parentes.
Agreed. London Parentes has made big shots, honestly, his whole career at Virginia, but even more so this year. He's become Mr. Big Shot for the Hoos. So Buzz is taking off the jacket. Now it's game time. As the jacket comes off, he'll be up and down that sideline for the remainder of this one.
With that white shirt, the degree goes to work. Here's Parentes. Off balance. Nice move by the senior.
You know, I love the matchup between these 2 guys. Seth Allen, you know, when we had him at ACC Media Day talking about his favorite move and who he would love to do it against. He said London Perrantes. These two guys are big-time competitors, but of course, before the game, you see them go shake hands, dap each other up, and have a friendly conversation before they go to war.
After a 0-point first half, Zach Leday starting to warm up. He's got 6.
And that's why those 2 fouls on Isaiah Wilkins were big. Nothing against Diakite, but he doesn't have the experience that Isaiah Wilkins has, especially playing against a guy like a Zach Leday and knowing the right ways to guard it.
Perrantes over Allen. And the rebound to Clark. Virginia gets back. Entry pass Leday. Again on Diakite. And 1.
The post feed to Zach Leday at 6'7". He gives away a couple of inches to most of the post players he plays against in the ACC. However, that means nothing to the fifth-year senior. 8 second-half points with 3-for-3 field goals right now after going scoreless in the first half.
It's a ball game again. A 4-point lead for Virginia. 13 minutes to play here in the second half. Perrantes. Offensive rebound. Wilkins, the putback not there. It'll stay with Virginia.
And again, the offensive glass, where Virginia was able to dominate the Hokies in Charlottesville, showing up once again. And when you're Virginia Tech, and of course playing with a much smaller lineup, you have to find a way to come up with those defensive boards and get out into transition where you're at your best.
Virginia Tech in conference play getting out-rebounded by 6.5 per game. That is not their strength. Here's Thompson. Off the Salt screen, Perrantes misses the bunny. Here comes Tech. 3-on-1. Hill all the way. Got it. 2-point game. Jerome gets the roll, and that briefly quiets the crowd.
Big bucket by Ty Jerome. We've talked about how important he's been to Virginia really in the second half of the season. But yet, no one there that can stay in front of the speedy Seth Allen, who now has 12 points on the evening.
Wilkins to Salt, knocked away by Hill. And a foul on Ahmed Hill.
Getting out in transition. Starts with coming up with the defensive rebound. Virginia Tech does. The pass out to Ahmed Hill, who finishes on the other end. Hokies within 2.
Virginia has won 9 of the last 10 against Virginia Tech. Last year in this building, London Perrantes hit 7 threes, 6 in the second half, but it wasn't enough. The Hokies behind 22 points from Zach Leday, 16 from Bibbs, and a game-sealing block by Leday handed then 4th-ranked Virginia a loss, 70-68, and Virginia Tech looking to get a big resume-building win in this building again. And this time the difference is the Hokies know they are oh so close to getting into the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade. It's been a series that's been dominated by Virginia. I know, Corey, you played in this rivalry before it was a conference rivalry.
Well, and then it was just a 1 game per year. When I was playing, we played in either Richmond Coliseum or Roanoke Coliseum. And when you only play once, that rivalry even heated up even more. Right now, these teams know, hey, you get us on your home court, we get a chance to get you back. But it's always been a heated rivalry, regardless of the records, regardless of the matchups. It's going to be a heated rivalry, and we have not been disappointed here tonight.
Cavaliers led by 14 at halftime. It's a 3-point lead now. And on this floor, the Hokies are 12-1 this season. They've had their struggles away from home, but have been a tough out here in Blacksburg.
This has been a tough guard. Tony Bennett going to that patented post trap, but this is what you risk.
Ahmed Hill.
Ahmed Hill is unable to finish that one. But that's what you risk when you go with that post trap. And Zach Leday understands how to handle that trap. Gets the basketball out of there. Ahmed Hill unable to knock down the wide open three in the corner.
Here's Ty Jerome. Parentes with 5 to shoot. Spinning. Kicks to Jerome. Sets up. And Jerome calmly hits the three.
And Ty Jerome knocking down the huge bucket. But the credit there goes to London Parentes getting in the paint and, more importantly, staying poised, finding Jerome with the shot clock at 1, who's able to knock down another three.
Allen to Leday. Here comes Bibbs. Drives and kicks. Clark. Offensive rebound. Leday hits the deck. Turnover. Jerome again. Here come the Hokies. Clark attacking and fouled. And if that's Wilkins, it's his third.
But Chris Clark went down awkwardly. Yeah, let's hope he's okay. You saw him go down. It was awkward.
The foul is on Wilkins. Clark is down. That is a huge part of what Virginia Tech likes to do, especially with the transition offense. A point forward on the floor.
You see Chris Clark, one of his greatest strengths is getting out in transition and challenging the opposing team.
Landed awkwardly on that right leg. Maybe it's the left one. Yeah, they're checking that left leg. He missed 12 games a season ago with a broken right foot. Buzz Williams down there with him, helping him up.
They're going to immediately take him into the back.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Virginia Tech. He does so much for this team. He can ignite your fast break. He can pass. He can rebound. He can score. In fact, he has the only triple-double in school history earlier this season against the Citadel.
Well, he is their leading rebounder as well. So when you think about that, and the way that Virginia Tech loves to play is getting out in transition, but that often happens because Chris Clark is the guy rebounding the basketball and pushing it down the floor. So we're hoping that he's okay back there. And, of course, you know, all these guys play extremely hard. You hate to see any of them get hurt.
So the lineup on the floor for Buzz Williams, Robinson and Allen is the backcourt.
And Ahmed Hill actually going to shoot the free throws for Chris Clark.
Hill knocks it down. He's on the floor with Bibbs and Leday. And for Virginia, you've got Jerome, Wilkins, Salt, Hall, and Thompson. Parentes on the bench.
Right now, you've got the Virginia Tech team with truly 4 guards on the floor. Then with Isaiah Wilkins and Jack Salt on the front line of Virginia, offensive rebounding will be a priority for the Wahoos. Virginia Tech has got to keep both those guys off of the offensive glass.
Salt against Leday. Salt to the left hand, and it's the rebound to Robinson. That's his natural hand. Bibbs met at the rim. You mentioned the size advantage, Corey. They wanted it off the screen and roll. the whistle away from the ball.
That's going to be on Jack Salt. Once again, that's his fourth. And Jack Salt averaging 10 minutes a game. He's a guy that's used to being in foul trouble. But Tony Bennett loves the way that he approaches the game with his physical nature. One thing is for certain, when you play against Jack Salt, especially in the post, you best be prepared for some physical contact. Because although Virginia as a team doesn't foul a lot, Jack Salt doesn't normally waste any of his.
In the second half, all of Virginia Tech's points have come either in the paint or at the free throw line. Virginia now has 18 fouls at the 9:05 mark, 2 more, and the Hokies are in the double bonus and getting to the free throw line and converting those attempts. That's a big part of what Virginia Tech does.
It does, and also it gives them those driving lane opportunities to be able to kick out for threes, where they've had some success here today. And if you're Virginia Tech, you want to continue to drive the ball at the rim, especially when you have Ty Jerome on the floor compared to London Fuentes, who Jerome is not yet on the level defensively where you've seen London.
Thompson over Leday and Hill. It's back to a 4-point lead for Virginia.
And that's the second time Darius Thompson has been able to get to the rim and finish in this game. And when you look at the team for Virginia, outside of Ty Jerome, Devin Hall, Darius Thompson, both capable shooters, but they're stronger at attacking the rim. Ty Jerome is going to be the guy you got to be prepared for knocking down threes, but Virginia Tech can pressure a little bit.
That's a long 2 from Allen, and it's a 2-point game. 14 for the 5th-year senior. Offensive foul against Virginia. It's on Jared Reuter, his first.
And Virginia Tech has been here before. The basketball was an opportunity to tie or take a lead in the first half. They were unable to come up with the basket. Then Virginia went on a 13-0 run to end the first half. Be interesting to see what the Hokies come up with here on this possession.
Here's Allen gobbled up. Jerome had the 3. And he'll slow things down.
But another big defensive stand by Virginia, and now they have the basketball with an opportunity to add some separation.
Devin Hall over Leday, 53-49.
And that's what you have to love about this Virginia team, the maturity and recognizing the climate as to what's going on in the game, where the defense really needs to step up, and more importantly, how they need to attack the offensive end of the floor. Devin Hall making a great decision to attack the rim there without any shot blockers on the floor to finish.
Allen over to Hill. Bibbs contested 3, too strong. It was a 14-point UVA lead at the half. Hall hits. The lead is 7.
17-9 in the home game versus Virginia Tech. Devin Hall stepping up big, 5 straight points for the Hoos, playing against his hometown rival, the in-state resident Devin Hall from Cape Henry Collegiate High School, giving Virginia the 7-point lead.
ACC storylines. Florida State, the road struggles continue for the Seminoles. They fell to Notre Dame. You called the Louisville-Miami game. The Cardinals bouncing back with a nice rally to knock off Miami. Syracuse saw its 5-game win streak come to an end. Pitt now, all of a sudden, resurgent.
And when you look at this year's ACC, how do you pick a first-team All-ACC and, more importantly, an ACC Player of the Year when you've got guys like Bonzie Colson going for 33 and 13 against Florida State yesterday and a huge win at home for Notre Dame? We see Chris Park back on the bench, hobble back on. You see the ice on the left knee. I doubt we see him for the remainder of this game, but good to see him back out here on the bench with his team.
He left the game earlier in the half on a drive to the basket. Bibbs hits from the corner, 56-52.
And you're going to get that if you double team the post. Zach Leday does a very good job of getting the ball out of the post. Earlier in the half, Ahmed Hill had the same opportunity that he was unable to take advantage of. Justin Bibbs, Virginia Tech's career leading three-point percentage shooter, knocks down the three there. And now Tony Bennett's going to have to decide whether they want to continue to trap or they're going to play Zach Leday straight up.
Parentes back into the game, but he's just 1 for 6 here in the second half. Virginia Tech basketball.
And if I'm Buzz right now, I'm going directly back to Zach Leday against Reuter to see how they're going to guard him in the post.
Leday with 11 points, all in the second half. Allen off the bounce, and he'll shoot 2, and that is the 10th team foul on Virginia, so the Hokies in the double bonus the rest of the way.
But when you play against Virginia Tech, you have to know they are not going to stop trying to attack the basket. Seth Allen, Justin Robinson, Chris Clark, Ahmed Hill, these guys love to go to the rim. So they're going to keep coming in there, and Virginia dug themselves in their hole early by picking up early fouls, and now every time that they foul, the Hokies will be going to the line for 2 free throws.
Allen came into the season a 76% free throw shooter, but just 65% from the line this year. He gets the bounce on the second. It's a 2-point game. The Hokies have been close. They have just not been able to come all the way back. They have not led since it was 2-0.
And every opportunity that they get the basketball to tie the game or take a lead, Virginia's come up with a defensive stand. Now it's the Hokies' turn to see if they can get a stop against the Wahoo.
2 of the best late game players in the ACC on the floor, Allen and Parentes. Here's London. Reuter driving, his shot blocked. A foul.
And when you see Reuter on the floor, in comparison to Jack Salt, he's a much more productive offensive player. So you see he has the ability to also shoot the jump shot, but put it on the floor and get to the rim. So you can't back off of him and allow him to make plays like you can with Salt on the floor. Reuter unable to finish at the free throw line. So now, even if he makes this one, it's still a positive possession for Virginia Tech.
The foul on Leday, his 3rd.
And now Salt actually going to come in for the shooter if Reuter's able to make this one. Offensive defensive substitution for Tony Bennett. And Bennett really right now is just trying to buy as many minutes as he possibly can to keep Isaiah Wilkins from guarding Leday until the end of this game, because Wilkins has 3 fouls in this one.
So Reuter to the bench, Salt back in. And Salt on the floor with Thompson, Hall, Parentes, and Wilkins. Three ties it, Outlaw for the tie. The rebound to Parentes.
And that was by design. Buzz Williams wanted that look from Ty Outlaw. That's the reason why he substituted him into the game for Seth Allen, to try to get Wilkins in that screen and roll action. They got the look. Outlaw just unable to finish it.
Wednesday against Miami, the Hokies fell behind by 17. Got to within 6 a couple of times late, but could not come all the way back. Here's Bibbs off the turnover. Ahead of the break, throws it up, got it! What a shot! And a chance to tie at the free throw line!
The turnover leading to offensive opportunities for Justin Bibbs. Bibbs not putting on the brakes, but keeping his foot on the gas pedal and finding his way to the rim, finishing through the contact from Darius Thompson.
An 83% free throw shooter, and he misses what would have been a game-time free throw.
And another opportunity, Virginia Tech just not able to get over the hump.
Wilkins from 18. Rebounded by Hill. Virginia Tech can take the lead. Hill puts it on the floor, down the lane, and the Hokies have come all the way back. Media timeout with 3:35. Actually, Tony Bennett called the timeout.
The Hokies love to attack the rim. Justin Bibbs getting out in transition, finishing through the contact. And then it's Ahmed Hill finding his way down the lane, finishing over top of Jack Salt for the Hokies' first lead since 2-0.
Allen and Parentes, they are the Mariano Riveras of the ACC. Late game, you call on them to close the deal, and we've got a one-point game here at Cassell Coliseum with Corey Alexander. I'm Anish Shroff, 58-57. Virginia Tech trailed by as many as 14 at halftime. They have come all the way back and taken the lead. They're shooting 63% in the second half. Here is Parentes. He has hit a number of big shots this year. Driving on Leday, and Parentes will shoot two. And that is going to be 4 personal fouls now on Virginia Tech's leading scorer, Zach Leday.
Great decision by London Parentes, not settling for a pull-up three-pointer or a jump shot, but putting the pressure on Zach Leday to try to stay in front of him. And when you watch London Parentes play now compared to his first few years at Virginia, he is so much better attacking the paint, especially in late game situations where his jump shot is lethal, but he puts pressure on you having to defend him getting to the rim.
He ties it with this free throw. Virginia can retake the lead here. Got them both. Virginia up by 1. Cavaliers move into a first-place tie in the ACC with a win. Virginia Tech looking for a resume builder.
Virginia actually puts a man in that possession.
And Bibbs banks home a 3.
I'm sorry, Virginia actually played a zone defense on that possession. That's not something that you see often at all from Tony Bennett.
Here's Parentes. Has the mismatch on Leday. Shoots over Leday. Robinson able to chase it down. 2:25 to go in regulation. On what has been a terrific Sunday night thriller in the ACC. Leday has it knocked loose by Wilkins. It comes back to Robinson. 2:10 to go. Out of bounds to Virginia.
I'm not sure if this was a zone or not, but it looked as though Virginia was actually in a zone defense. Maybe it was just so much help. But regardless, Justin Bibbs got a lot of help from the glass. And Justin Bibbs, a great three-point shooter, but I don't think he called that one.
2 freshmen on the floor in crunch time for Tony Bennett, Jerome and Guy. Both have had their moments tonight. Parentes off the side of the rim. And here comes Allen.
And now Virginia Tech going to be patient on the offensive end of the floor with the lead. It's about getting the best shot for your team possible right now. Getting the ball in the hands of their point guard, Justin Robinson. But I'm sure it will touch the hands of Zach Leday in the post or Seth Allen at some point in this possession.
Here's Leday down the lane. Wilkins goes down. Offensive foul, and that is 5 on Leday. He has fouled out. So now Buzz Williams without Zach Leday and Chris Clark, who left the game in the second
Well,
half.
I said it earlier, Isaiah Wilkins is the best matchup to guard Zach Leday. Tony Bennett had to do the right thing and keep Wilkins off of Leday early in this game. But you see the drive, the left forearm coming out from Leday, shoving off Wilkins. Give Isaiah Wilkins credit for moving his feet, getting in right position to take the contact.
So Leday is done. 11 points, 6 rebounds. All of his scoring came in the second half. And now this is a very small Virginia Tech lineup on the floor.
Small means fast. Don't look at it from that standpoint, but you're right. They do have to secure a defensive rebound and not give Isaiah Wilkins opportunities on the glass.
Here's Guy, baseline, ties it at 61.
He loves the moment, no question about it. Kyle Guy has made big shots all throughout his young career at the University of Virginia.
Timeout, Buzz Williams. You've got to assume 1 minute and 4 left. It's going through Seth Allen here. In Joe Lunardi's latest projections, Virginia Tech is a 10 seed. They last reached the NCAA tournament 10 years ago. You get a win like this against the top 15 team in Virginia, this goes a long way in the eyes of the selection committee a month from now.
Of course, and it would be a huge win. Of course, their work would not be done. But more importantly, a springboard throughout the remaining ACC play for Buzz Williams to be able to talk to his team about, hey, guys, listen, we are good enough to do this, because they still have a number of road tests that they have to go out and finish before they get the opportunity to come home for 3 of their last 4 to end the regular season. But when you look at this Virginia Tech team, they are a dangerous offensive team. They struggle at times defensively, and they struggle defensive rebounding, but they're an entertaining team to watch. And when you look at the eye test, I believe that this is a team that is an NCAA tournament team, but they've got to validate that with wins.
The challenge for them right now in the closing minute plus of this game, their top 2 rebounders, Leday and Clark. Well, Leday is fouled out, and Clark, I'm not sure he's coming back into the game. We saw a big ice pack on his knee after he took a spill earlier in the half.
I doubt Clark will play any more in this game, but when you look at it with 1 minute and 4 remaining, offensive rebounding is the area of concern for Virginia Tech, especially with this smaller lineup. But it does give them an advantage on the offensive end of the floor, because right now they've got to find where that mismatch is going to be. Who's Isaiah Wilkins going to guard? Because all of these Virginia Tech guards can put the ball on the floor and get to the free throw line. Remember, they are already in the double bonus. So if I'm the Hokies, I want to make sure I attack the rim.
Parentes, Hall, Wilkins, and the 2 freshmen, Jerome and Guy. The 5 for Tony Bennett. For Buzz Williams, Seth Allen, Justin Bibbs, Robinson, Outlaw, and Ahmed Hill. There's Robinson directing traffic. It's it back for Bibbs.
1 minute to play.
Allen had the game winner earlier this year against Georgia Tech. Lets this one go. Front rim, rebound Guy.
And you don't mind that shot. If you're Virginia Tech, Virginia going to run some time off the clock and make sure they get a quality look. But Virginia Tech, most importantly, has to secure the defensive board if Virginia misses.
Parentes has been Mr. Clutch. 20-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Parentes down the lane. Bank shot is good. Cavaliers with a 2-point lead.
And Tony Bennett with the timeout to make sure he allows his defense to get set and how he wants to go about guarding Virginia Tech on the offensive end. But on his offensive end, it's been big play after big play from London Parentes. The preseason first-team All-ACC selection has knocked down 3-pointers in the first half and been dangerous attacking the rim in the second half. And you see Parentes, one of the best in the business, knocking down shots from beyond the arc. But where he's grown as a player is at crunch time. It's not about the jumper. It's about him finding his way to the rim if he's able to finish to give Virginia the 2-point lead.
In this league, Corey, if I had one shot to take, I'd want Parentes to take it.
You mean I don't get the ball? You're speechless. I'd say you're speechless because you don't even know how to answer that question.
I wouldn't pass you the ball to begin with. this league this season.
That's because you would never have it, because I would have gotten off the inbound pass and you would have never touched it. So don't worry about that, buddy. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. London Perrantes has proven time and time again that he is one of the best in the league at the end of the shot clock and at the end of the game, stepping up and making big shots. And of course, he inherited that role from Malcolm Brogdon, who was that god last year and the last couple of years for Virginia. So he had a great example to play beside, and Perrantes definitely took it upon his shoulders to take over that role this year for the Wahoo.
Remember, the Hokies are in the double bonus, so any foul by Virginia means 2 free throws for Virginia Tech. Outlaw went down, no whistle. Shot clock is off.
You don't have to be in a rush if you're Virginia Tech. Just make sure you get a quality shot.
Allen down the lane. It doesn't go. Jerome is fouled by Outlaw, but that's only the 5th team foul. So 1 more to give.
And if you're Virginia Tech right now, you want to try to get into some pressure and see if you come up with a turnover quickly. But if you don't, you got to foul and extend this game, especially knowing that Virginia could very well go to the free throw line and knock down 2 as a very good free throw shooting team.
Probably a quick foul here. Again, Virginia Tech still has a foul to give. And we'll give it right there as Bibbs fouls Perrantes. So the next foul means a 1-and-1 for Virginia.
Justin Bibbs, his first personal, 6th team foul against the Hokies.
Jerome to inbound. He gets it back, fouled immediately by Allen, 9.7 seconds. And the freshman Ty Jerome, only 12 free throw attempts all season coming into the game, will go to the free throw line.
I would like to see Virginia Tech actually try to do something there to put a little pressure on Virginia to throw the basketball out of a trap and see if you can get a turnover instead of just conceding the ball coming in and fouling them, putting them on the free throw line.
Jerome, 9 of 12 from the stripe this season. Not a lot of attempts. First free throw attempt tonight. Misses the front end. A 2 ties it, a 3 wins it. Allen to the basket. The tip is good by Outlaw. We're tied with a second left. Here's Thompson. He'll heave it. Overtime in Blacksburg.
Offensive rebounding has been the Achilles heel of the Hokies the entire ACC season. So it's only fitting that they come up with a huge offensive board to finish the game, to send the game into overtime and finish regulation. Great plays from both teams at the end of this one. London Perrantes finding his way to the rim to give Virginia the 2-point lead. And then Seth Allen getting to the rim, unable to finish, but because of the attention that he draws, it gives Ty Outlaw the easy offensive rebound and putback to finish regulation and send this game into overtime.
So in crunch time, Perrantes first, then it's Allen. Even though he missed, he drew the D, and Outlaw with the putback. Overtime after this. It's now time for overtime, presented by Continental Tire with Corey Alexander and Anish Shroff. If you're just joining us, Virginia led by 14 at halftime. Virginia Tech roared back in the second half, and this was how the Hokies tied it at the end of regulation.
Seth Allen going to the rim. Virginia's leading shot blocker, Isaiah Wilkins, coming over to try to block the shot, but when you got a shot blocker going up, that backside offensive rebound is open. Ty Outlaw, a great job going in there in the concentration to finish that off the glass with 1 second remaining in regulation.
Seth Allen, Justin Robinson, Ahmed Hill, Justin Bibbs, and Hadim Sy back into the game for overtime for Virginia. Perrantes, Jerome, Guy, Hall, and Diakite, who will jump center.
And remember, Wilkins in foul trouble. So Tony Bennett going to try to buy some minutes early in this half. Just like that. Diakite was in there to try to get the tip. Doesn't come up with it as Tony Bennett shares a smile But just like that, Isaiah Wilkins back into the basketball game.
Here's Kyle Guy at 10 in the first half. Over to Jerome. Now Hall. To his offhand, it doesn't go. Sellout crowd here at Castle Coliseum for this Commonwealth clash. C had it knocked away and a foul on the floor.
That's going to be a foul on Wilkins.
That is number 4 on Isaiah Wilkins.
Fouls on the Cavaliers, 21, Isaiah Wilkins, his 4th personal foul.
Leday, the leading scorer for Virginia Tech, fouled out near the end of regulation. Chris Clark, the second leading rebounder for Virginia Tech, on the bench. He had ice on his knee after taking a spill in the second half. Ice pack is gone, but Clark has not re-entered the game.
Nadim C stepping up, knocking down the first free throw. This young man knows a little bit about big shots. I actually had the tip in for my Oak Hill Warriors last year in the national championship game to win it for us. So he's no stranger to playing in huge games in big environments.
The freshman from Senegal has given the Hokies a 2-point lead. Wilkins ties it back up at the other end. He wanted a foul.
And a great interior pass by Devin Hall there, bringing the defense and recognizing that Wilkins was over. A strong finish by Wilkins on the inside.
First 2 points of the night for Isaiah Wilkins. Down low, C blocked by Wilkins. He had 5 of those against Louisville.
And when you look at this Virginia defense, Isaiah Wilkins has to be their most valuable defender for what he's able to do in the post. Nadim C playing with half a shoe on the left foot.
Seth Allen picks up a foul, his 3rd. Washington State, Colorado coming up next here when We're Done. The start of that game can be seen on ESPN News. Parentes misses the free throw.
And Virginia has hurt themselves at the free throw line at the end of regulation as well as here in overtime. And that's not something you normally see from this Wahoo squad.
Here's Hill. Too strong. Rebound to Jerome. Only 18 fouls against Virginia Tech, so still 2 more until UVA goes into the double bonus. Guy driving on Allen. Now kicks it back out. 12 to shoot. Guy leaning in. Allen avoided the contact. With 2:40 left, we're tied at 65.
And right now, if I'm Virginia Tech, I want the ball in the hands of Seth Allen. Although it's a beautiful feed from Justin Robinson. Ahmed Hill just has not been able to get on track from beyond the arc.
You would think a kid from Augusta, Georgia, from Amen Corner, he would be locked down. There's Jerome. A freshman kicks to Guy. Another freshman. Too strong and air ball. Allen down the lane. No good. Here's Parentes looking to push. Parentes all the way, and he's fouled. And the senior from LA to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And a smart decision by London Parentes. Most times that would be a possession where he would pull the basketball out, not recognizing numbers for his team, but seeing Justin Bibbs trying to get out, get back in defensive position. Parentes takes it upon himself, recognizing that 2 or 3 things could happen for him. He could score or get fouled at the free throw line. The worst thing that can happen is he misses a shot. But it becomes a positive trip and he's able to knock down these free throws.
2-shot foul on Bibbs. 9th team foul on Virginia Tech, so the next one puts UVA in the double bonus.
And now Virginia going with the defensive substitution. Tony Bennett taking out his 2 freshman guards and putting in his veterans, redshirt junior Darius Thompson and junior Mariel Shayok on the defensive end of the floor.
For the Hokies, no Clark, no Leday. 1 out of 2 for Parentes. And Virginia Tech can take the lead with a basket. Allen had C wide open. Goes behind the back. 10 to shoot, 1:35 to play. C down low, recovers. Allen for the lead. Rebound Wilkins.
Great rotation by Devin Hall there at the end of the shot clock. Not giving Seth Allen a clean look, but coming over and disrupting his rhythm just enough to throw off that shot.
Both teams 1 for 9 combined in overtime. Parentes down the lane. Yes! And it's a 3-point lead for Virginia.
You mentioned it at the end of games. Other than me, London Parentes is probably the best guy in the gym to have the ball in his hands. Isn't that what you said?
You're not playing anymore. You're sitting here. You're retired.
Well, let's tell you who is playing. London Parentes is not only playing, but playing very well at crunch time, getting to the rim, beating the shot blocker in C, and shielding him off just enough space to be able to finish and give the Wahoos a 3-point lead.
This has your blood boiling a little bit. You want to get out on there, fire a couple. Crunch time.
I always want to get out there until I get out there and realize how much it hurts to be out there.
Parentes with 20 points. Talking to Tony Bennett before the game, he said his senior leader, London Parentes, really assessed what this team needed once they got into ACC play. He said, we didn't have a go-to guy. And Parentes realized that I can't be passive. I have to get my offense to make this team go. And you look at his numbers from non-conference and what he's done in ACC play, 15 points a game in conference, 50% from 3. He has become the alpha on this Virginia team.
He really has, and that's what everyone from the outside looking in expected to see this year. So when he really didn't take over that role in the non-conference, people were surprised. But once they got the conference plays, you look at the difference in the numbers. He took on that role after losing 2 games against Florida State and against Pittsburgh. He took on that role and said, I will be that guy. When it's necessary, I will step up, take the big shots, make the big plays, and take on more of that offensive punch.
UVA with a win would move into a first-place tie with UNC in the ACC. Virginia Tech 5-6 in conference, and this is in the midst of an 8-game stretch where only 2 of the games are at home. Tonight and a couple of weeks ago against Boston College. Tuesday, Virginia Tech at Pittsburgh, then Louisville next weekend. If they can weather this 8-game stretch, listen, if they can get 1 out of the next 3, and that includes tonight, then you look at the closing stretch. Home against Clemson, at BC, home against Miami, home against Wake Forest, all 4 winnable games.
And the only thing I don't agree with is that font that said 1 quality win. Virginia Tech has another quality win when they went to Michigan in the ACC Big Ten Challenge and were down, came back to win that game. So I'm giving them 2 strong quality wins to go along with their win here at home against Duke.
Beat Duke. They have a win against Syracuse, 1 at Clemson as well. Tonight at 11 on ESPN, Sports Center at night with Bucci and Anderson. They'll have basketball highlights for both the NBA and the college. Big day for Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks against the Spurs. The day in the NHL, final round of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Bill Belichick was there. He was wearing a Johns Hopkins lacrosse sweatshirt. These are the things I find out for you. Buzz Williams hoping.
Thank you for that.
That his team can defend its home court. That has been what you have to do in this league this year. It's been so hard to win on the road. It's become an imperative to win at home, and Virginia on the other side looking at an opportunity not just to beat your rival, but to get a quality road win and go to 9-3 in league play. 3-point game, final minute of overtime number 1. Allen to Bibbs. His 3 falls, and we're tied. Parentes drives on Outlaw. The ball is stuck on the rim. Jump ball. Possession arrow. Virginia Tech.
Buzz Williams with a beautiful play design coming out of the timeout. Putting the ball in Seth Allen's hands and giving him two options to find the three to tie the basketball game. London Parentes couldn't get that to happen, leaving the ball in the rim if he tried that again. The soft touch by London, in all honesty, just a little too soft on this possession. A beautiful left-handed layup, and somehow or another, actually too soft, just finds a resting spot on the back of the rim.
When that ball first hit the rim, I thought for sure it was going to fall back in.
I believe everyone in the gym did, and they actually had an issue. That rim was broken earlier today. So before the game, that rim was broken. A lot of people on the floor. Roger Ayers coming out before the game, everything to get it right. So this rim has played a huge part in today, but none bigger than just holding the basketball on the top and not allowing London Parentes to come up with those 2 more points.
Buzz Williams just used his final timeout. Parentes with that glassy expression as if to say, are you kidding me?
Well, Buzz Williams right now, all he wants from his team is to make sure they get a shot at the end of the game clock so that Virginia does not get another opportunity and Virginia Tech either walks off with the win or they play in second overtime.
Hokies hold for 1. Now here's Seth Allen. 5 seconds. Allen over Wilkins for the win. Double overtime.
I got nowhere to go. Great shot. Because the zeros went off when that ball came off the rim, and Virginia never had a chance. Getting the ball in the hands of your playmaker, Seth Allen. Beautiful move to free himself over Isaiah Wilkins. But Wilkins does a great job recovering. And you see, just a little to the left, Virginia comes up with a huge shot.
68-68. We're back with the start of the second overtime at Cassell Coliseum. It has been a fun Sunday night here in Blacksburg. Time now for double overtime presented by Continental Tire. Virginia led by 14 at halftime. Virginia Tech actually took the lead in the second half. We went to overtime. Now we're in double overtime. London Parentes has hit a number of big shots, 20 points for UVA, but he's also missed a couple of key free throws down the stretch.
Well, he's had to take 20 shots to get those 20 points, but his team has needed him to do all of that, especially in the second half where he hasn't had much offensive help. London Parentes has taken it upon his shoulders to be the guy on the offensive end of the floor for the Wahoos.
The 145th meeting between Virginia and Virginia Tech. And here we are in double overtime. Parentes hasn't had much help, especially in the second half. And for Virginia Tech, 2 of their key players, their leading scorer, Zach Leday and Chris Clark, both out of the game. Leday fouled out. Clark left the game with a leg injury in the second half and has not returned. Crowd wanted a foul on Diakite.
And a great job by Roger Ayers and Teddy Valentine of not calling that foul because Diakite actually had his hand on the basketball.
Allen down the lane. And Seth Allen to the free throw line to shoot 2.
And a beautiful drive by Seth Allen. And you see when he's got a big guy on him, he's not going to settle for the jumper. Does a great job of blowing past Diakite and putting the pressure on Devin Hall to foul him at the rim.
Second on Hall, both teams in the double bonus.
DMC a little gimpy, grabbing his lower leg.
Checking in for the
He
Cavaliers.
limps off the floor, bringing Ty Aldo back into the game.
Into the game for your Hokies.
Isaiah Wilkins will check back in for Diakite.
Wilkins has 4 fouls, but in overtime number 2, that's not really a factor to determine playing time, as Allen hits the first free throw to give the Hokies a 1-point lead. We've seen Seth Allen this season against Georgia Tech hit the game winner. Hit a big shot on the road at Clemson.
Well, you mentioned it. He's another one of those big play guys, especially when it comes crunch time. And he's the guy that Buzz Williams has chosen to give his team a win. He and Parentes continue to have a classic battle between the two of them here this evening. Good call.
And we've got a foul away from the ball. It's on Virginia Tech and Allen.
Yeah, actually it's going to be on Justin Robinson. Freedom of movement. Isaiah Wilkins trying to cut to the rim. Justin Robinson bumping him off of his line, not allowing him to run to his spot. And now Virginia in the double bonus.
That's the 3rd on Robinson. And Wilkins misses the free throw. Virginia has had its struggles at the free throw line today, 10 for 19. 11 of 20, it's a 1-point game. Here's Allen, now Hill. Ahmed Hill makes it a 3-point lead for Virginia Tech. Wilkins, two-handed jam.
And that's because of the attention paid to London Parentes. When you've got 2 guys guarding you, that means someone's going to be open. Parentes does a great job finding Isaiah Wilkins for the easy bucket.
Time to shoot. Hill lost it. Here comes Shayok. Over to Thompson. No whistle. Shayok gets it back. And Virginia on top.
50-50 balls, always important, but never more than overtime. Give Mariel Shayok a tremendous amount of credit, not giving up on the play and picking up the loose ball and finishing it off to give Virginia the lead.
Allen for 3. Shayok skies for the rebound. He gets bumped by Hill. And Shayok to the free throw line.
Off the turnover. Mariel Shayok coming up with the basketball, pushing it out in transition, throwing the ball ahead, making the right play, but not conceding that Darius Thompson will make the layup. Stays after it, picks up the basketball, puts it back to give Virginia the lead. And now Shayok at the free throw line with an opportunity to extend that lead for the Hoos.
The junior from Ottawa was recruited to Marquette by Buzz Williams. Then Buzz left for Virginia Tech. Shayok did not follow, opened up his recruitment, and landed with Tony Bennett at Virginia. It's a 2-point lead for Virginia after Shayok gets 1 out of 2. Three-pointer by Bibbs. Got it! Hokies back on top. Bibbs with some big shots late in the game.
And that's a defensive mistake by Ty Jerome. You've got to recognize the personnel. Justin Bibbs, a career 42% three-point shooter. You cannot give him that much room.
4 of 6 tonight. He's got 16. Parentes lost it, gets it back. And able to draw the foul.
Isaiah Wilkins imploring Ty Jerome, come on, you got to recognize, because when you have Justin Bibbs on the wing with an opportunity to knock down the 3, You got to crowd him and run him off the line.
Parentes ties the game. The foul was on Seth Allen, and that is 4 on Allen. Remember, Zach Leday, Virginia Tech's leading scorer, fouled out. Chris Clark has not played since injuring his leg in the second half. Who's on top, 76-75, 2:15 left. In overtime number 2, Cavaliers led by 14 at halftime. There's Outlaw, his tip-in sent the game to overtime, and we've got a timeout from Buzz Williams.
Timeout.
Justin Bibbs, 6 for 9 from the field, 4 threes, 6 rebounds, and 16 points, including a number of huge shots late in the game.
And Justin Bibbs, a career 42% three-point field goal shooter, #1 on the career list for Virginia Tech. But not all of his baskets have been 3. The huge and 1, the bank off the glass, but the most important of them all, the overtime three-pointer, where he was given just a little too much space from Ty Jerome.
76-75. Virginia can tie North Carolina for first place in the ACC with a win. Hokies a projected 10 seed by our pal Joe Lunardi. And this would go a long way for Virginia Tech if they can get a win against a top 15 Virginia squad. And for UVA, Corey, the upcoming schedule, daunting. A Duke team that seems to have found its mojo once again with continuity and Coach K back. Virginia will play Duke on Wednesday, then at Chapel Hill next weekend, and then North Carolina will come to Charlottesville at the end of February.
But one thing that you can say about Virginia right now, their home court advantage has been tremendous over the last 4 years. One of the best home court teams and road teams for that purpose in the ACC. So Duke coming to Charlottesville, Duke has, I think they're playing much better, but they have also had a number of games at home to get it together. Them going back out on the road could be a challenge for the Blue Devils coming to Charlottesville. At North Carolina with College game day there on Saturday, that's going to be a tough test for the Wahoos. They're going into Chapel Hill and taking on that huge front line, especially if they have Isaiah Hicks back in the lineup.
That game has provided some pretty good theater the last few years. North Carolina and Virginia. So has this one, 76-75. Virginia on top of Virginia Tech. Hokies lost on Wednesday at Miami. You were there. They fell behind by 17, made a late run, but couldn't come all the way back. Virginia last Monday knocking off what was then a depleted Louisville team.
And Virginia coming off 2 back-to-back losses before that at Villanova and then at Syracuse. A big win against Louisville on Monday. And Virginia will actually have 2 big Monday games coming up on February 20th against Miami, where they'll retire Malcolm Brogdon's jersey, and then at home again on February 27th against North Carolina. So you talk about Virginia's schedule, they've got a lot of work to do. So if they're one of the teams that gets a part of that lead or wins the ACC, they will definitely have earned it coming down the stretch.
The shot clock does not reset off the timeout. So 7 to shoot for Virginia Tech. Down by 1, 1:52 left in overtime number 2. Robinson, 5 to shoot. He'll launch. It's tipped back and it comes to Shayok. California cool. London Parentes had it knocked away. Out of bounds. They'll say it'll stay with Virginia. Seth Allen, ooh.
And Seth Allen saying that he was pushed out of bounds. But you mentioned the California cool, a little too cool on that possession. Nonchalant with the basketball, giving Seth Allen with a beautiful slide too. And I mean, that could be going into second base. Nice little lead, getting down the line, sliding into second.
Right now we're in extra innings, 76-75. Virginia on top of Virginia Tech. Timeout by Tony Bennett. 1:32 to go. Foul trouble. Bit of an issue for Virginia. Virginia Tech. Leday, their leading scorer, has fouled out. Chris Clark hasn't fouled out, but he has not returned to the game after a second-half injury. Seth Allen has 4 for Virginia. Isaiah Wilkins with 4. And Jack Salt, their big man, with 4.
Maybe you should get an extra foul in overtime.
Oh, there's been talk of having an extra foul, period.
Yeah, I mean, once you go to overtime, you want to keep players on the floor. Take away a foul or give them an extra one or something.
Here's Hall. Shot clock under 10.
And remember, that doesn't force any issue for Virginia. They're comfortable with that. Ty Harlaw coming up with a huge block shot.
Here's Hill the other way. And a blocking foul.
And I believe that's going to be
5 on Wilkins.
Yeah.
He's done.
And Isaiah Wilkins, who's been spectacular against the Hokies. Ahmed Hill does a great job just putting his head down and attacking the rim. Gets the contact, gets the shot up. Isaiah Wilkins stepping over to try to take the charge. Unsuccessful. And will have a seat for the remainder of this game. See, that's the reason why you need an extra foul. You want the players on the floor. If you foul out in regulation, you can't come back in. But once you get to overtime, either take one away from everybody or give them an extra.
That rule not in effect just yet. When Corey Alexander gets on the rule committee, I'm sure.
No, they're listening right now. Do it this year.
Ahmed Hill at the free throw line. And if he hits them both, Virginia Tech can take the lead. Hill is 75% free throw shooter entering the game. This is the first. Gets the second. 76 all. Parentes, not there. It's tipped to Hill. Cavaliers get back.
And right now, if you're Virginia Tech, you do not want to do anything quickly. Make sure you get a quality shot.
About a 21-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Robinson. He is going to be fouled. It's on Guy. Justin Robinson to the free throw line. Smart play to give the Hokies the lead.
But a smart play by Justin Robinson. Now, for what Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome are able to do for Virginia offensively, right now defensively, they're not on the same level as the veterans like a Devin Hall, Darius Thompson, or London Parentes. So what has happened to Virginia when you talk about the losses at Villanova and Syracuse, people have spread Virginia out and try to drive those guards, feeling as though they had an advantage from a quickness standpoint, and Justin Robinson taking advantage of that on the last possession.
Virginia uses its final timeout. 1-point game, 37 seconds to go. This is how we got here. London Parentes at the end of regulation, giving Virginia a 2-point lead. Seth Allen the other way. Draws the defense, misses, but Ty Outlaw there for the putback. That sent us to overtime. We were tied after one overtime, and now it's a 1-point game. Here in double overtime, Seth Allen could have won it at the end of the first overtime. 77-76, Robinson at the free throw line. Virginia Tech trailed by 14 at the half. No easy nights in this league for anybody.
Yeah, especially in a rivalry game, you know that this one, and even though Virginia got off to the great start and built the lead at halftime, and I mentioned it coming out, this Virginia team gave up a 12-point halftime lead at Syracuse. Syracuse was able to come back and win that game, and you just knew that the Hokies would find their way to battle back into this one.
Robinson hits both. It's a 2-point lead for the Hokies. 37 seconds left. Guy off the dribble. Underneath for Hall, and we're tied at 78.
A beautiful pass from Kyle Guy.
Hokies out of timeouts. A chance to win it again at the end of overtime number 2. Here's Allen. Working on Shayok. Allen in the lane. Gets it to go. Final seconds. Here's Parentes for the win. Virginia Tech with a double overtime